you're sacrificing an entire generation of kids on the altar of liberal activism. It's time for you to start reporting on this and the disgrace that has become the teachers' unions, the total disgrace. It's time for you to tell the American people the scam that's really going. This is an extortion racket right now, based on no science whatsoever. All right, so I read this article in the Wall Street Journal. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this, again, I can't say this enough. I don't want to keep repeating content, but I'm just, as a friendly reminder to the teachers' unions out there, you are making a catastrophically awful decision trying to extort parents into making bad decisions by keeping their kids out of school. Terrible. Worst decision ever. Here's the Journal article I'm talking about. School opening extortion. Teachers' unions are using COVID-19 as a political weapon. Again, I can't think of a more disgusting thing to do. Now, before I get into this segment, I just want to be crystal clear. The teachers' unions are totally disgracing themselves. Totally. It's beyond, it's disgusting. It's so gross right now that whoever's telling you this is a long-term strategy to get parents onto your side by extorting them and threatening to not teach their kids is so bad that you should have the political consultant who told you to do this arrested for political malpractice. Seriously. I don't know who I told you an example of deep blue Montgomery County in my former home state of Maryland, where liberal parents are losing their marbles over what's going on right now. Having said that, I can't be clearer. I can't be any clearer. This is not about the teachers. I get volumes of emails from teachers. One, she asked to remain nameless. I'm obviously not going to say her name, but sent me a very nice email. You know who you are, saying, Dan, 80% of the teachers I talk to, just citing her email, 80% are dying to go back to school. They know how terrible this is. Some of them are afraid of losing their jobs, and they are disgusted by what the teachers' unions are doing. I say that because I'll still get an email once in a while thinking this is an attack on teachers. It is not. It's like, Joe, perfect example for you, right? Joe was in the radio business for a long time. There is a broadcasters union. Some people have to join. I know people who had to join who hate being a part of that union. I'm just saying, they've told me that. I don't know anything about them. I'm not in it. I'm not bad-mouthing. I'm just saying, I remember this conversation. I'm tired of paying these dues. I don't like these people. They're two different things. The broadcaster, the union. They're two separate things here. The teachers, Joe knows exactly what I'm talking about. The teachers and the teachers union. This is not about the teachers. Not about. The unions are a disgrace. From the Journal piece, this is a great line. Like whoever told them this was a good idea, the unions, we're not going to teach your kids and you're going to pay us more. Yeah, good strategy there, folks. Quote, Wall Street Journal. The teachers' unions have a cynical interest in forcing their competitors to shut down too. What a humiliation it would be if charter and private schools reopen and demonstrate that in-person education can be done with the right risk mitigation. Or if parents unsatisfied with the public school's response to the coronavirus decide a private school would be better for their child. Can this get any worse? Can you imagine a worse scenario where the teachers unions don't want their teachers educating your kids in public schools, but they don't want their competitors in non-union charter schools open either because they don't want to be humiliated when the teachers open up and do it safely?
That's right.
Joe, Joe, I'm not kidding. Can you imagine a worse strategy? I mean, no. I'm trying to think of like analogies here to make sense. How bizarre this is. It'd be like in Joe's old business. Listen, we don't like our radio audience. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep the show off the air for a month until advertisers start paying a higher rate. You'd be like,
that's a good one.
Is that it? Right? We're not broadcasting anything until you come up with higher CPMs for ads. You'd be like, who told you this was a good idea? Who told you this? We're not teaching your kids until you pay us more. And by the way, if you try to send your kid to a competitor, we're going to shut them down too. They're making it even worse. It'll be like, we're not running a radio show till the advertisement. It's going to be nothing but white noise on the air. And by the way, we're boycotting our competitor. We're going to shut them down too. You can't even listen to them too. We're going to make sure they're off the air. Who told you this was a good strategy? Where did you get this? On what planet do you think this is going to work? I'm doing this fighting for the teacher. I'm not kidding. I love teachers. I always say, Miss Shortino. I don't even know if Miss Shortino is still alive. I love Miss Shortino. St. Pancras, my fourth grade teacher, she was great. She used to give me books I'd pretend to read. It was terrific. Poor lady, War of the Worlds. She gave me what's a Call of the Wild with Buck and everything. And I tell her I read them. I don't think she knew. She probably knew I didn't read them, but I just liked the free books. Swiss Family Robinson. But they were around, and eventually I picked them up and looked at them. I think. I actually read the Call of the Wild, probably 7 years later. But I loved Miss Shortino. She was great. Miss Gilfeather, I know she's passed. God rest her soul. She used to say, Dan, life's a bowl of cherries. Don't fall in the pits. It was genius. Maybe not Plato-like material, but it was genius when you're, 5 years old. Who the hell knows how? I forget what year. No, that was 5th grade, so I was older. They were great teachers. Sister Ellen. Sister Ellen was a little mean in 3rd grade. She wouldn't hesitate to give me the old her on the hand. But listen, I learned a lot. I love teachers. I'm doing this in your best interest. I'm not kidding. You all are great. I read your emails. Your unions are failing you. They are destroying your brand. You have a brand. Everybody has a brand. I don't mean that in a mercenary capitalism sense. I mean, you need parents and you to be on the same team. And to be on the same team, your brand is selling the parents on the idea that you're producing value for their kids, is it not? That's what it is, right? We have a brand on this show. Joe said it, ironically, of all the marketing people I've ever paid, I swear on my life, we paid a lot of dough for marketing. Joe said it best to me one time. He goes, Dan, our show is everything you need to know in an hour. That was it. I loved it. It's it. Joe, that was Joe, not me. I didn't make that up. Joe did. He got no bonus for that either. It's a damn shame. This year, we'll have to give you a bonus end of the year. But that's our brand. Facts and the stuff you need in an hour, little over an hour for your ride home. That's always been our brand. Teachers have a brand. Send your kids to us. We're going to teach them the skills they need to succeed in life. Your brand isn't, don't dare send your kids to us as we extort you for more money. That's not your brand. Who's telling you that? That's not your brand. It's not good. Now, Paula's laughing. She was mad at me after my jingle. Now, it was a great jingle. Now she's back on Team Bongino. This is great. Showing you how this is based on nothing, by the way. We're going to keep your kids out of school until you pay us more. Here's the CDC director. This is a different clip from the one I played. It's the same guy, but different clip. This is Dr. Robert Redfield testifying in front of a committee saying, listen, I actually have a person in my family who's high risk, and I want them back in school too. There is no science to back up your assertions that you should be extorting parents for more money, keeping their kids out of school. Listen to the CDC director himself. Check this out.
I just want to reemphasize, because I don't think I can emphasize it enough. As the director of the Centers for Disease Control, the leading public health agency in the world, it is in the public health interest of these K through 12 students to get these schools back open for face-to-face learning. Mental health service, 7.1 million kids get it in school. Nutrition, we talked about. Reporting of child abuse, sexual abuse, mandatory in schools. The isolation that these adolescents are feeling that now is associated with increase, as you mentioned, increased drug overdose deaths and now increased suicides. I think it is really important. As a grandfather, 11 grandkids, I want these kids back in school. I have one grandchild with cystic fibrosis. I want it done smartly. All right, but I think we have to be honest that the public health interest of the students in this nation right now is to get a quality education in face-to-face learning, and we need to get on with it.
Folks, you just heard it right there. It's really time for the liberal hack media, you know, the PP tape hoaxers, who I know they're all about gaslighting and hiding Joe Biden and everything, get that. But you're sacrificing an entire generation of kids on the altar of liberal activism. It's time for you to start reporting on this and the disgrace that has become the teachers' unions, the total disgrace. It's time for you to tell the American people the scam that's really going. This is an extortion racket right now, based on no science whatsoever.
You just heard Dan Bongino.